Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the second episode of English Unlocked, the podcast that makes learning English fun and easy. I'm Emma.
And I'm Jake. Today, we're diving into something fascinating: how English became a global language. Have you ever wondered why people from so many countries speak English?
It's a big question, and the answer takes us through history, from exploration and trade to colonization and even today's media and technology. Ready to explore?
Absolutely. Let's start with how English spread across the world during the age of exploration and trade.
Picture this. It's the 1500s. European countries are setting sail to discover new lands and trade routes. England, a small but ambitious country, is one of them.
Right. English sailors traveled far and wide. They reached North America, the Caribbean, India, and parts of Africa. As they traded goods like spices, sugar, and textiles, they also spread their language.
That's true, Jake. Merchants and sailors needed a common way to communicate. So, Jake, English became the language of trade in many ports. If you wanted to do business with the English, you had to understand their language.
And this wasn't just in one place, Emma. English-speaking traders were everywhere. Over time, local people picked up English words and phrases to make deals easier, Emma.
It's amazing to think how quickly language can travel, Jake. But trade wasn't the only factor. Exploration often led to the establishment of colonies, where English became a dominant force, Jake.
Exactly, Emma. As English explorers mapped new territories, they brought their customs, culture, and language with them. It wasn't just about business. It was about power and influence, Emma.
And once the English language took root, Jake, it became a tool for maintaining control. People in these new territories had to learn English to understand laws, pay taxes, and communicate with colonial authorities. Jake.
Over time, Emma, English became the language of opportunity. If you wanted to improve your life, learning English was essential. This pattern continued as the British Empire expanded, Emma.
Another interesting point, Jake, is how English became a contact language. When people from different cultures met through trade, they often used English as a shared language to communicate. This created a ripple effect, making English a useful tool for people around the world, Jake.
And even as other countries became powerful, Emma, the foundation of English in global trade, remained strong. It was no longer just England's language. It belonged to the world, Emma.
Plus, Jake, ports and trading posts became multicultural hubs where English acted as a bridge. In these bustling areas, English phrases and customs spread quickly, Jake.
That's true, Emma. English adapted to new environments and cultures. This adaptability made English not just a trade language, but a language of communication and progress, Emma.
Another thing to remember, Jake, is that English wasn't static. As English-speaking traders traveled, they borrowed words from other languages, Jake. This made English flexible and easier for new speakers to adopt, Jake.
Yes, Emma. Words like bungalow from India and canoe from the Caribbean entered the English language. This blending of languages made English richer and more adaptable, Emma.
And Jake, even today, English continues to grow through new influences. Every year, new words from different cultures are added to the English dictionary, Jake.
You know, Emma, another key factor was the rise of maritime power. English became the language of the sea, Emma. Sailors from different countries often used English to follow maritime rules, Jake. You know, Emma, another key factor was the rise of maritime power. English became the language of the sea, Emma. Sailors from different countries often used English to follow maritime rules.
That's right, Jake. The English language became essential for navigation and international shipping. This further spread English across continents, Jake. By the 1600s, Jake, England wasn't just trading. They were building colonies. A colony is when a country takes control of another land and its people.
Right, Emma. The British Empire grew to become the largest empire in history. It stretched across Africa, Asia, the Americas, and even parts of Oceania, Emma.
In these colonies, Jake, English became the official language of government, law, and education. If you wanted a job or wanted to be heard, you had to learn English, Jake.
And for many people, Emma, it wasn't a choice. In schools, children were often required to speak and write in English. Native languages were pushed aside, Emma.
This had a lasting impact, Jake. Even after colonies gained independence, English remained a vital part of life. It became the language that connected people across regions and cultures.
And this process wasn't always peaceful, Emma. Colonization often involved violence and oppression. But the spread of English through these systems left a permanent mark on the world.
Another interesting point, Jake, is how English evolved in different colonies. In countries like India, English mixed with local languages to create new dialects, Jake.
Yes, Emma. In Jamaica, for example, English blended with African languages to form Jamaican patois. In Singapore, Singlish is a unique blend of English with Chinese and Malay influences.
So English didn't just stay the same, Jake. It adapted and changed, creating new forms of communication across the globe.
Even today, former British colonies like Canada, Australia, and South Africa continue to use English as one of their official languages. This legacy of English remains strong, Emma.
And while colonization left painful histories, Jake, the spread of English also created new cultural exchanges and connections between people who might never have communicated otherwise.
In some places, Emma, English became a second language used in business and diplomacy. This dual language system continues to shape how people interact globally. Think about the shows you watch, Emma, the songs you hear, or the websites you visit. Chances are, a lot of them are in English.
Exactly, Jake. The United States, a major English-speaking country, leads the world in movies, music, and television. Hollywood films are famous across the globe, and many international pop stars sing in English. It's hard to escape English when it comes to entertainment.
That's true, Emma. And the internet has made English even more powerful. So many websites, social media platforms, and apps use English as their main language. Even if a platform supports multiple languages, English is often the default option.
And there's more, Jake. English also plays a big role in education. Many universities around the world offer courses in English. If someone wants to study abroad, learning English is usually a must.
You're right, Emma. And when it comes to technology, English is everywhere. Most programming languages, the ones people use to create software, websites, and apps, are based on English words. If you want to work in the tech industry, knowing English gives you a huge advantage.
So, Jake, whether it's movies, music, the internet, education, or technology, English is a key player. Learning English opens up so many doors and connects you to the world.
Absolutely, Emma. And that's why understanding English isn't just helpful, it's becoming essential for anyone who wants to keep up with modern life.
So, Jake, how did English become a global language? It didn't happen overnight. It was a long journey through exploration, colonization, and modern technology.
That's right, Emma. The spread of English has a fascinating history. It all started with trade and exploration back in the 1500s. As English merchants and sailors traveled across the world, they took their language with them. Ports and trading centers became the first places where English began to leave its mark.
Exactly. And as the British Empire expanded in the 1600s and 1700s, English spread even further. Through colonization, English became a dominant language in many regions like North America, the Caribbean, Africa, India, and Australia. The empire may have faded, but the language stayed behind.
And it wasn't just colonization. English also grew because of migration. People from England moved to new lands, and they brought their language with them. Over time, local people began to use English for business and communication.
Right, and by the 20th century, English became even more powerful. Why? Because of technology and media. The rise of radio, television, and movies, especially from the United States, spread English worldwide. People everywhere were watching Hollywood films and listening to English music.
And don't forget the internet. In the 21st century, English dominates the digital world. Most online content, websites, and social media platforms use English. This means people from all over the globe interact with English every day.
So, when we look at the big picture, English didn't become a global language by accident. It happened because of centuries of exploration, colonization, and later, modern technology like radio, television, and the internet. And today, it's a language that connects people worldwide.
That's right, Emma. Whether for travel, business, or simply chatting online, Knowing English opens up a world of opportunities. It's amazing how one language can bring people from different cultures and backgrounds together.
Absolutely, Jake. And that's why learning English is so valuable. It gives you access to knowledge, communication, and connection across the world.
And that wraps up our discussion on how English became a global language. We hope you enjoyed learning with us today.
Today, we explored how English became a global language. We learned how trade and exploration started the process, colonization expanded its reach, and modern media and technology continue to spread English worldwide, Jake.
That's right, Emma. English is now a language of communication, business, and culture across the globe. Its journey from a small island to worldwide dominance is truly remarkable, Emma.
That's enough for today. See you in the next episode. Bye-bye.